Hello, social studies scholars, Mrs. Olson here. I'm going to be doing two things with this video. First of all, I'm going to be reading through the conclusion of the Declaration of Independence, and I am going to be going through the marking the text assignment for the Declaration of Independence step by step so that you can see what you should be doing. All right, here goes with the reading of the conclusion for the Declaration of Independence. It says, "We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in General Congress assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions do, in the name and by authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states. That they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor." Okay, that is me reading it through one time. Now I'm going to go through and talk about parts. So, we, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, General Congress assembled. So, we, that is referring to the men of the Continental Congress. Do you remember that the men of the Continental Congress are considered delegates or representatives of the United States of the colonies? And General Congress assembled. They're saying that they are all together, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world. So, Supreme Judge of the world, they're referring to God here. They are Christians, okay? So they're referring to God. "For the rectitude of our intentions do, in the name and by authority of the good people of these colonies." Okay, rectitude is a challenging word. This may be the first word that you highlight because you don't know it. So I would make mine pink, okay? "Of our intentions, due in the name, and by the authority of the good people of these colonies." So they are talking about having the authority, having the ability, because the people of the colonies have elected them. The people of the colonies have said, "Yes, I want you to represent me when you are meeting with the other representatives of the Continental Congress." Okay? Solemnly publish and declare. So publish means that they are going to make it so that everybody can read and have access to what they have written. They declare that these colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states. Now, what phrases should you be underlining? Some of you are going to want to underline who the people are. That's okay, but I want you to remember that I don't want you underlining huge sections, okay? I only want you to be underlining the most important points. So, we may underline that they are representatives of the United States of America, okay? And they are declaring that the colonies, the United States, are free and independent, okay? These are big ideas. All of this means something, okay? But they are not the most important things that you want to be underlining and remembering. Okay, so here goes some more. That they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown. Absolved is another challenging word. That would be one that I would highlight, okay, and find definitions for. Allegiance. Do you guys know what allegiance means? If you do, then don't highlight it. If you don't, it might be one that you choose to highlight. Okay. And that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved. Now, here is one that you may underline and highlight. So, I think I know what dissolved means, like when you put sugar or salt into water, it will dissolve. Okay, so dissolve in this case is meaning that the connection that was between the England, Great Britain, and the colonies is no longer. It has dissolved. This I believe to be a very important point. So I'm going to underline it. And that as free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce. Okay, these are all very important points here. So the people of the Continental Congress are saying that because they are now free and independent, they have the ability to do these very important things. Okay, levy war. You may want to highlight and define levy. Conclude peace, contract alliances. Maybe alliance is another word that you want to highlight and define, and establish commerce. But these are very important things that the United States is saying that they now have the ability to do. So I'm going to underline it. Okay. And to do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, they're referring to God here again. We mutually pledge to each other. So mutual means that people agree. Pledge, they say that I'm going to do something. So they are saying that we all agree that we will pledge to each other that they are going to give their lives, their fortunes, and their honor to make sure that all of this happens. Okay, so here's one thing that I didn't do with you in this video, and that was to define the terms that we didn't know. You should have a few more than two. I just wanted to do those as examples. Now, what I found was that when I tried to put a text box up here, that it made this a little bit messy. So here's what I suggest. That you take the terms that you don't know, rectitude was the first one, and you type it down here, and then you can use the definition for, you can take the definitions and then write them at the bottom. So rectitude is the quality or state of being correct in judgment. Okay, so this is going to help you when you go back through and read it again, because you really want to understand it, what rectitude means. Now, If you guys are nice, you are going to make this a different font for Mrs. Olson so that she can see very easily the terms that you have found that you don't know and define. And you can make them a different color for me too. Okay. So there's one example. If you want to try to put text boxes above these, you can, or if you are writing it with a pen or a pencil, that's probably even better. Okay, now, what's the other thing that we have to do? We have to write 3 notes in the margins. We have to make connections with the last part of the Declaration of Independence, okay? So, what in here can you make connections with? How about this first line, representatives of the United States of America? Have you ever said the Pledge of Allegiance before? Does this phrase, United States of America, does it remind you maybe of saying the Pledge of Allegiance? If it does, you might write that note off to the side. Now let's find another one that we can make a connection with. Maybe another connection is with the term judge. Maybe you have been to court for something, or maybe your parent person has talked about being judgmental. If any of those examples give you some kind of connection to the word judge in here, you would write that off to the side. Okay, so here's the word intentions that I used in the example in the previous video. Maybe your parent person has also talked about the intention to do something. Okay. How about the terms free and independent? Can you make connections with those words, what it means to be free and independent? If you can, you're going to write what that means off to the side. Okay, guys, I am going to click back to this part and kind of go over the directions again. We read it through a few times, we underlined important points, and we highlighted unknown terms. And at the bottom, because we did this digitally, that's where we wrote the definitions for the words that we didn't know. And the last part of what we did was to write notes in the margins. You have to do at least 3, and these notes are connections that you are making with pieces of the Declaration of Independence. Okay, I hope that helps. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. I'm always here to help. Bye.